hello everyone. Hello, how are you? How's everyone going out there today? Good, good. Is anyone else getting the overwhelming need to clean up already? Because I certainly am. Well, good evening everyone and welcome. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge that we are on the lands of the Turrbal and Yagara peoples and that this place has always been a site of storytelling. And it's not lost on any of us at this company, at this precise moment in history, how special and privileged that position is. My name is Daniel Evans and I'm the Artistic Director of Queensland Theatre Company, but you can call me Dan, because when people call me Daniel, I feel like I'm getting in trouble. Thank you for being here and thank you for being one of our closest friends. If you have subscribed this season, which I'm pretty sure most of you have, then please pat yourself on the back because you are the reason we get to take bold swings, shift gears, and program a season that moves from champagne-soaked excess to something far more intimate, but no less explosive. Because yes, we are coming straight from The Great Gatsby into Torch the Place. From Long Island lawns and green lights at the end of the dock to a Gold Coast lounge room bursting at the seams. I can't even look behind me because it gives me so much angst. From champagne towers and jazz to cake, presents and a skip bin. After the muscular scale and high-octane ambition of Gatsby, we wanted to pivot, not down in impact, but inward in focus. Theatre should expand and contract. It should dazzle us with spectacle and then sit us at the kitchen table. And Torch the Place does precisely that. For the uninitiated, I'm just going to give you a little 101 into what this story is about. Teresa's mum can't let go of anything, from grudges to Princess Di's ashtrays to late 90s Disney VHS. She sees her ordinary Gold Coast home as a museum of irreplaceable treasures, but when she's not a curator, she's a hoarder. When her children return to celebrate her 60th birthday, she's thrilled to have them home, but this isn't just a reunion, it's an intervention. Armed with a skip bin and good intentions, the siblings attempt to help their mother confront decades of detritus, rusted on emotions, and long-buried memories. Inspired by playwright Benjamin Law's own family experience and Australia's fast-growing problem with compulsive hoarding, Torch the Place balances sharp wit with a deeply emotional reckoning around trauma, identity, and the meaning of stuff. When I first encountered this play, I was struck by how recognisable it felt. Not because I grew up on the Gold Coast or I have Princess Diana ashtrays at home. I think we've all got our version of that cupboard. But because it understands something really deeply universal, that our homes actually become our emotional archives. And cleaning them out is never, ever just about tidying up. Without further ado, would you please welcome the cast and creators of Benjamin Law's Torch the Place. Woo! They keep coming. It is like a clown car. Now you're going to have your opportunity to ask any of our dazzling team a question about any aspect of the process, from rehearsals through to now, where these amazing people are about to enter their technical rehearsals, where they're starting to put the light and the sound around this chaos behind me, which is only actually half the chaos. It's actually a lot more messy than this. Deep breaths. Before we do that, I thought it might be nice for us to go along the line. If you can introduce yourself and who you are and how you're attached to the production, what role you play, or perhaps what character you're playing in this world. Hello, who are you?
Hello, my name is Ngop Phan and I'm the director.
I'm Will Hughes and I'm the composer and sound designer.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Allen and I'm the set and costume designer.
Hello, I'm Brianna Clark and I'm the lighting designer.
Hi, I'm Xiaoling Tang and I play Di, or Mum.
Hi, my name is Logan So, I play Toby.
Hi, I'm Denise Chan. I'll be playing Teresa.
Hi, I'm Christy and I play Natalie.
Hi, I'm Peter and I play Teresa's husband, Paul.
Hello, I'm Emily Burton and I am Assistant Director and Artist Wellbeing Advisor.
Now, what this extraordinary group of humans on this stage can't show you, but I know deeply and personally, is that they have formed their own amazing family unit. And I don't think I've seen an ensemble as close-knit as this one in quite a long time. And I actually credit that to our fabulous director, Nop Farm, who you will know as an amazing actress who has been in so many shows here, but not least in the amazing Boy Swallows universe, Viet Gone, which was a really good show, that one, because we directed it. And most recently, Trent Dalton's Love Stories at the Brisbane Festival. This cult that you've kind of built around this beautiful ensemble is so typical of an actor turned director. And in your solo main stage directing debut, which I'm so proud of you for doing, what's the biggest difference, do you think, from being on the stage versus being behind it and making the magic happen? How do the roles differ? Is that a hard question?
It's a good one. I think the biggest thing is being able to create the culture that you want in the room, and also obviously having a bird's eye view and stepping out as an actor, as valuable as being an actor is. Being a director has taught me how to just think about the world and how, with how the sound is going to look, and the sound and the set itself, and just what the dynamics in the space. That's a really important thing for me. And, I spoke to Emily about creating a space for actors to feel like they can be as bold and big in their choices as possible. And, it's mainly been about how do we create not just the world, but the company that we keep. Yeah.
Beautiful answer. My next question for you is, this play slides across your desk from some person with wild hair who says, "You'd be great!" What went through your head when you read the play? Did you have any first gut instincts or reactions to the world of the work, or perhaps the play itself?
It was a swear word in the best possible way, because I read it when you approached me. I was in the middle of doing a show, and it was like a bit of a blindsided move, Daniel Evans, in the best possible way. And I loved it, and I read the script, and I thought, wow, this is it's an actor's dream, but it's also a designer's and sound designer and lighting's dream as well, because we could be so theatrical with the story that Benjamin wrote. And so it was a swear word in an excited way.
Amazing. I'm going to come to this amazing family of characters who are the characters in this are so ridiculous in the best possible way, and so lovely. I'm going to come to you, Denise, because you play Teresa, and you're sort of our entry point into the world of the work. You kind of lead us into this mess, this chaos. Can you tell us a bit about where is your character at the beginning of the work, and what do you set up for the audience? What do we learn in the first couple of pages about the world that we've stumbled into?
Oh boy, yes. We stumble into this big world. We definitely get a sense of the sheer amount of chaos that has been collected over the years, over the pain, the trauma that has been happening. And Teresa is coming into this with one goal in mind: clean up the house. We've got to get rid of all the stuff. The skip bin is coming, and we need to deal with it. So it's a lot of pent-up energy, and it's a whole lot of delicious fun.
So gorgeous. And it's so lovely because your character is so level-headed, and we are going to get this job done. And of course, what makes it more complicated is that Mum, we're going to come to now, icon, matriarch, doesn't want a bar of it. Do you want to talk a bit about Mum and her stuff, and maybe perhaps a bit more about this character and who she first presents as Shauza, but maybe also who we come to understand her as being?
Well, she's a complicated woman who finds joy and beauty and love in things. And everything has a purpose or a meaning or a memory or which we all have. Oh, it is. It's our history. It's our family. It's, you know, by keeping the little things that the kids, you know, painted for me to, you know, it's just all part of her life. And she comes across as a little bit crazy, wanting to hold on to everything. But there's reasons for everything. She has a real, true connection to every single thing in this house. And she's very passionate. She's passionate about her family and all of her children and her house. It's her palace. And yeah, she's probably because she's a migrant and speaks English as a second language, can be treated as a little bit silly, a little bit unintelligent for that reason. And it's a generational thing as well, where you see the children, how they treat sort of an older generation. They're trying to fix things up for you, make it better for you. And you sort of, yeah, she has a lot of frustration with that. And so I think she represents an older migrant generation, but anyone's parents or, yeah, older people, and they struggle with the kids, and yeah, but she has a real connection to all these things. It's not just stuff.
Beautiful answer. There's so many tendrils now. I'm going to tee that up. I'll come back to you in a second. I'm going to come to Logan and Christy. Hello. Christy, welcome back to the company.
Oh, thanks for having me back.
My pleasure. And Logan, welcome to your main stage debut. How exciting. Pleasure to have you both. Do you want to talk about you two as siblings? And we've heard a bit from Teresa and how landing in this strange world and encountering Mum. How do your characters, how did they arrive in this world? And what's their relationship to Mum's stuff?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Okay. Well, Toby's the youngest of the siblings. There's actually quite a bit of an age gap between all three of them. So there's about 7 years between us and then 13 years between me and the elder sister. I think as the youngest of the family, you naturally kind of have different knowledges of what happened before you were born. He was the last one to leave the home, so there's a bit of that, and also I think Toby really hates this place. He kind of has this very kinesthetic reaction to everything around him. It's quite tactile, and I think that grosses him out a lot.
I think Natalie is the most similar to Mum. And so she's like, I don't think we should throw everything out. Just keep it. Like, it's cute. But, and then she finds herself siding with Mum in a lot of arguments. But she's also the one that visits home the least. She never goes back, maybe once a year, if that, for Christmas. So she doesn't really see it or have to be in the crap as much as the other siblings. And she just kind of sends money. She's like, oh, here you go. Here's some gifts, presents, money. See you later. Bye. I don't want to be here anymore. That's Natalie. Yeah.
I know lots of Natalies. I have a few in my family. And I just realised this is being recorded tonight, so that's going to be really awkward for me. Peter, welcome. Another main stage debut. Welcome. It's so great to have you in the company.
Feels good to be here.
You play Teresa's boyfie, the blokey Paul, and you're a bit of a pacifist. And I'm wondering, what's his take? When he rocks up, he's got a very different take on the family unit. What's he potentially, I guess, I don't know, marrying or entering into, do you think?
Yeah, well, even though Paul's a bit of a pacifist, he is armed and dangerous with real estate knowledge and a bunch of other things about stocks. And I think, like, with their relationship in particular, you know, Paul, he's been in the family for a really long time, and so he's almost like the older brother. And he usually does take a little bit of a step back, and he lets it all play out. But in his mind, it's kind of his way of helping Teresa cope with a really difficult situation and relationship that she has with her mother, and also the fact that, you know, it's I think, if I'm not giving away too much, Paul kind of imprints a lot of their relationship, and it's all tied into the relationship that Teresa has with her mother. So it's kind of this big chain that all works together. Even though he is a kind of like he takes that step back, he's always there to give that loving hug. He's always there to give the energy and the humor, and that's what I love most about him.
Oh, he's under no, you're onto a winner there. I guess my question for all of the cast, and I'll come to the creators, is what is perhaps the most exciting part of performing or inhabiting this world, and perhaps dealer's choice, what is the most challenging part, have you found? And that could be really pragmatic. Like, I know there's over, I think, 500 individual props that get touched in this, and I know... I seriously can't even look behind me. It's actually giving me... It's really triggering. It's full on. I just want to get in there and go, right, we need boxes and labels. Does any of the cast want to take that question? Exciting or challenging part of this production? Charlene?
Challenging, definitely. We had all of our stuff moved out of the rehearsal room to be set into the theatre, and so we've been in the rehearsal room with miming things, and it's been all clear and empty. And then we came back down here, and all of a sudden, a couple of us got that knot in your stomach of just this foreboding, oh my Lord, it's here, it's back, and this is our lives for the next 4 weeks. And it was like, it was visceral illness that we feel. I love it, and I love it because it's our show and you're going to love it. But yeah, the tracking of the props journey, we have shoe gate, door gate, lots of things that we're tracking. So it's been a very, very highly technical show mentally for us as actors. Also for me, having to be a Cantonese speaker, which I don't speak Cantonese, speak Cantonese and with an accent as well. So I've been working hard on that.
You have been. I want to ask about that because we've talked about that in passing. Well, what a beautiful segue. What have you discovered about Cantonese, but also as you've actually muscularised this character who kind of lives in her vocal, really? Like, what's been the nuance, or what have been some of the discoveries you've made? Because you've been working with someone as well, I know, down south.
Yes, yeah. We were talking about regions. I come from Malaysian Chinese background, so a lot of my relatives, aunties, my father, who I'm basing a lot of some character work on, are Malaysian based, and that was slightly a different region to where Diana comes from, so we had to work really hard on where the voice placement is and where the accent sits in the mouth, different to Malaysians a little bit more relaxed, or where the emphasis is, and this is whilst speaking English, let alone then the whole learning Cantonese and trying to be able to speak that it was two different ways of my brain having to think. So it was very valuable though to have that time with the professionals that can help just tweak my existing knowledge and my existing work on the accent and place it and create her hopefully realistically and as close as because I think there will be some real Cantonese people coming, so that's a bit slightly terrifying.
Amazing. To the rest of the cast, is there any other exciting moments or challenging moments you've found over the past few weeks?
I think for me, one of the most exciting things about this work is just the sheer scale of the spectrum of heart and comedy that we get with it. We really jump from one end to the other multiple times, which has been quite a feat. And I think just being able to experience that as an actor as well, keeping the instrument warm and like able to go to those places and really stretch has been really fun.
Totally. Yeah, the stamina that it takes throughout the whole show, because it's just moment after moment after moment. And then there's one bit in the show where you get to look up at the ceiling and it's like, whoa, there's so much mold up there. And it's like, oh my gosh, now I don't want to get back up off the ground but then I do, because the show's got to keep going. Yeah, that's pretty challenging. But it's been really exciting working on such an ensemble-based show. And like working as like a family on stage and off stage.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Mold on the ceiling.
Well, it's in the fictional universe. It's not in the rehearsal room, is it?
No.
It's
there is
imaginary mold.
There is
Imaginary
mold.
mold,
No,
yeah.
I can reassure you that in the rehearsal room there's not mold on the ceiling. I hope. It's just been the process has been incredibly difficult. One that I don't think either of us are gonna ever have to go through again. I don't know. Hopefully, it's with so many props you get to endow so many memories onto those props. What do they actually mean to you personally? And I think that for us has been the key throughout the play, was at the start of rehearsal, making sure that we had the props ready to go and what we were going to use. Because it's one thing to pick up a ping pong paddle and just say, oh, it's a piece of junk, but it's another thing to say, what memory do I attach to this? What did this mean? When did I use this? When did I buy this? And which is a very common theme throughout the play, and of course why Diana really struggles to let go of a lot of this stuff. And that, as a process, as an actor, has been a lot of fun, and it's something you don't get with a lot of trendy theatre minimalist plays or something. It's you get to really sink your teeth into this.
Amazing. I'm going to come to Jeremy now. Charlene, you before just said that it's her palace. And it's not lost on me, Jeremy, that last time we saw you here in this building, you did Malak and Young Made Us, where you're evoking a different kind of palace. This one is now, obviously, by way of Southport, which I quite enjoy. But tell me, how do you go into conceiving this world? Like, what were the images that immediately came to you? Or how did you come up? How did you come up with this monstrosity? This beautiful monstrosity behind us.
I feel like I should apologise.
No, don't apologise. It's beautiful. It's a stress and anxiety inducing.
No, it's a compliment. I feel. It started by reading the script, and Knox says it was kind of maybe a dream for the creatives. I was terrified. Maybe it was a bit of a nightmare, but no, it was. It is a really big design challenge, particularly in this venue, because we don't have a whole lot of entrances and exits. And not to give it away, but the house does eventually get cleaned up. So it's a matter of kind of working out where that goes. How do you fill this space with stuff and then make it
It's a beautiful moment when everything does get cleaned up, I can assure you. For me anyway, OCD.
So that was the kind of key question in terms of what guided the set. In terms of the props, it is unlike any other show I've ever worked on. It is just enormous. The props list is thousands of items long. So it is an enormous thing. And it's not just incidental props. It's not just stuff that sits on a shelf. A lot of it is interacted with actors, and it has to be in exactly the right place, in exactly the right time. So there's a lot of pressure on our phenomenal stage management team, who have put everything into pulling this show together and managing every single little prop. So shout out to them.
Jay, take a bow. Stand up. Stand up. Come. Here she is.
Just into life.
She's a woman on the verge of a mental breakdown, but she's here. Oh, and tea, of course.
And then just generally in costumes, just to speak on that as well, I think for me, it's such a character-driven piece. The characters are so iconic and individual, and it's just been a way of kind of reflecting, particularly with Mum, reflecting in her costume, the chaos of the set. So you get lots of like mixed patterns and that kind of stuff, and then getting to play with the other kind of the symbolism of some of the other characters, and kind of there's some really great kind of relatable textural kind of stuff in there with the costumes as well. So yeah.
Amazing.
And a bit of bling, yeah.
And a toilet with a frangipani tree in it. Beautiful. I just saw that when I went, oh, that's awkward. Bree and Will, welcome back. And Bree, welcome to your main stage debut. So exciting. One thing that you might not guess looking at this set and hearing these amazing performers talk is that actually we go on a few flights of fancy throughout this play. So it's not just watching a lounge room kind of comedy or dramedy. We actually go into some pretty heightened places. We go into the past, we go into a game show, we go into a medical hallucination, a drug trip. So this is just getting spicier and more magical the more I talk. I'm wondering, how are you both, do you both work together to conceive, like a lighting and sound language, or do you keep the lines open about how you're going to realise the magic on stage, and how are you going to do the magic? Talk us through it.
You go.
Yeah, I feel as though me and Will starting this process had a very open communication from the beginning, and just hearing all the amazing composing and music in the rehearsal room is super inspiring, and it really drives where the lighting inspiration comes from. And yeah, like Dan was saying, it's crazy. There's so many places that we need to be in this space. It's like fantasy, horror, memory, so much. So it's, yeah, for my first main stage, like Nock was saying,
Really threw you under the bus on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and like musical as well.
Well, this is the thing. The big realization that I had pretty early on in the rehearsal process is that this is really, it's a musical without songs in it. The structure of it, as it's written, the way that scenes actually sort of progress towards, you know, a point that in a musical is where a song would break out. Like that's sort of what it is by the nature of how it's written. So by that, like as an extension of that, it has the capacity to hold a lot more sort of artifice as it is. It can hold a lot more music. It can hold a lot more sort of abstract and, you know, interesting lighting stuff. Where, you know, in some other situations, like the last show that I did for you guys, for Dear Son, it's just a different situation. If you put too much on top of it, you're just going to smother the whole thing and ruin all of that. And this just lives for it. This lives for as much as you can give it, you know, which is a really fun but terrifying prospect because it's a lot of notes. It's a lot of notes in this show.
I'm going to come out to the audience soon. I'm just aware of time, and I will be greedy and take up all the Graham Norton airspace. But I'm coming right to the end of the line to my friend down there, Emily Burton. Hello, how are you? Again, another actor turned director. And you're assistant directing on this, but you mentioned in your introduction that you're bringing some well-being into the room. And I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind sharing with us that part of your practice and how perhaps that's been informing part of what's happening in the room.
Of course, yeah. There's so one of my hats on this project is artist wellbeing advisor, which is kind of a new role. It's not something that is done very often, but I think on this work it's come in handy in the sense that, I mean, as you've heard from everyone, it's a big show. There's a lot of moving parts. As Denise was saying, emotionally, it's a really big stretch for the performers on stage. It is high physical action. There's a big risk for the performers to get really worn down throughout the season. When you're going through heightened trauma scenes and you're doing that every single day for weeks on end in a rehearsal room, and then you continue to do that every day for weeks on end, every night, sometimes multiple times a day, your body starts to believe that it's really happening to you. So having tools to support the process to kind of help performers wind down after a show is a really important component for them to stay healthy, to be able to maintain the stamina that is required for an entire season. And it also, I think, has... Nock and I are really lucky to have worked together a bunch of times before, so we have a great kind of shared language. But I think it's really been a lovely process for us to work together in this respect, especially on a cast that is a family. I think it's really contributed to knitting the family together. So that's been a really lovely part of the process, is going, yes, there's the practical component of artist wellbeing to make sure these artists kind of sturdy and safe and secure in the work, but it's also really brought us all together in a really lovely way that I think will be felt in the end product.
It's so wonderful having that skill set in a room. It's such an actual privilege, and I'm so excited you're here. It's actually pivotal now, yeah, I agree.
Because of, like, just some of the content in the show, along with physical stamina, there's an emotional stamina that these characters go through, and very early on in the process, we were able to set out some kind of boundaries and guidelines, which Emily took us through, where we covered everything in the show that would be potentially like some tricky issues, not just for what the character is going through, but what the performer will need to go through as well, and repeat every night. And just having those lines of communication has created such trust and discovery and exploration and risk-taking with each other that is really inspiring to watch, and we can't wait to share it with you all.
I want to ask one more question before I open up. I'm so sorry. I'm just really feeling this. We've just heard, just for the audience out there, because we've just heard that beautiful answer, and we've heard about, like, this show deals with trauma, but then I've also said there's a game show and a drug trip. So this is quite a roller coaster ride, and it does kind of throw you around the work emotionally, not just the actors but the audience. I'm wondering for you, what is this show about? Like, what do you know to be true about this work right now? Like, what is it underneath it all? And hoarding is a very serious issue, particularly where we are right now in 2026. But what's it about for you deep down?
For me, it is about how we are in our silos. We have our things that kind of we keep and we collect. But the thing about what we need from each other is connection. And so for me, this story is about how a family comes together, and actually they don't need stuff to connect with one another, but it takes a whole skip bin and a whole drug trip and what have you for all of them to realise, as things get stripped back and this, the house gets cleared, what's exposed is each of the characters' deep vulnerabilities and how they have to be with one another and what it takes to get there. Yeah.
Beautiful answer. I'm going to come out to the audience now. Does anyone have any questions they would love to ask? I'm coming up to this row here. There's a few questions in this row. Shall we go? One of you to decide who wants to ask the question first. Go on. So the question it's a good question, isn't it? The question is, after a high energy work, and I will say this, I think this is, this is being recorded, I can't say that. I think this show's a bit harder than The Great Gatsby, actually, because this is, edit this part out. But Gatsby is difficult because it is quite high octane and it moves very fast, but this is what we call a closed room play, which is that there's nowhere to go. It's on the set, and these guys have to summon emotions right in front of you, and it's like the tumult they'll put themselves through is quite intense. I'm even getting pent up, but... Sorry, the question is how do you between a matinee and an evening show, what do you do? And we call them double show days, and they are known across the industry from here to London to New York. They don't change. It's the gamut you look down on a Wednesday and a Saturday where you go, here we go, 2 shows, let's do it. Do you want to? I'll go to you now.
I just want to add to that. I'll let the cast speak to what they need to do for their characters, but can I just shout out to stage management team, because this show to reset, we have timed it, what is it, Jayway, about 2.5 hours to reset this show. So it's working around the clock, yeah. And that's where well-being comes into play.
So, is there any volunteers out there who want to come along on a double show day? Please feel free. Cast, does anyone want to answer that? How do you handle a double show day?
Yeah, sure. I can start. I think energy management from the beginning of the day is always really important. As actors, of course, warming up, cooling down, making sure you get your chest resonance going, you get everything like that. And then a lot of tea is really helpful. And then I think for us as to back out of the character, we do a lot of the exploration in rehearsal, and I think that's where we really get the vulnerable states when we can really push it. And then it's honestly, when we get to the shows, I think it'll just be about being there for each other, really listening, making sure that we know each other's energies, which we've learnt now. And then everyone's got their own process, which I'm sure these guys will tell them about. But yeah, just being and listening to each other and being there for each other.
And to also give you an idea of, in terms of schedule, we've been rehearsing from pretty much 9:30 to 5:30 every single day, Monday to Friday, for 4 weeks. And when we come up to show season, what they do is they shift our schedule to later in the night. So we come in 1:30 p.m. and then our days end at 10:30. So this whole week of doing all our tech runs, it's also adjusting our bodies and our sleep schedule to get used to being very aware and awake at nighttime to have fun with all you guys.
I can offer a gift from the Great Gatsby cast is that they all discovered Soak Bathhouse in West End. So in between shows, they're like, oh, well, before we do that again, let's go and have a spa. So that really helped. So that is a gift. Yes. Is it yours? Oh. That's a really good question. That question was, there's a lot of things on this set that feel a bit recognisable, that beautiful 60s, right? Like it's a 60s kind of esky. Has there been any objects you've encountered that have come into the room that have triggered something or unlocked a memory or sparked something for you guys that you've gone, oh, I haven't seen that in a while? Or any thoughts on that?
I think generally Ben Law has written this so much into the play that there's it's pure nostalgia. The whole thing is about hey, I know that. And there's so much written into it that you'll see probably, and there's a lot more hidden behind as well. Lots of kind of secret characters that you might recognise and songs particularly that you might recognise. And, it's a real throwback, and that's kind of reflected in the set as well, that it feels this kind of like a kind of time capsule.
Do you have a favourite object that you've come across?
Gosh. Ask me at the end of tech, maybe. Yeah, no, not at this stage.
Not at this stage? All right. Does anyone have a favourite prop? Do you have a favourite thing that you're going to steal after the show?
I'm looking around.
Oh, well, look, I'll talk to the boss.
Wait, I have a favourite prop, but I don't want to give spoilers.
Okay.
But
you're going to
wait,
anyway.
No, I can't say. But it's in a bag.
Okay. It's in a bag. There you go. That's a code from Christy. Amazing. Yes, question here. We talk about thousands of objects. Who took the shopping list and where did they go to get all of this?
That is a fantastic question. It is our stage management team. So they are the ones who source nearly everything. We do have, QTC does have a prop store. We've actually just moved it on stage. So that's a lot. That's where some of this stuff comes from. But for the specifics, it's our phenomenal stage management team who are buying those things. A lot of eBay, a lot of marketplace, curbside pickup. You might recognise some stuff if you've left stuff out on the street recently. Yeah,
amazing. Yes, up here. How many items had to be specific, I think was the question.
I've never worked on a play where there's such specificity about the props. Like, like I say, written into the script, it is this exact character, it is this exact plush toy, it is this exact CD, it is this exact object. Yeah, 86 in total exact items. Plus there's stuff that is kind of general. Could be this.
I know that Benjamin Law, who's the playwright in our correspondence with us, opens every text message with, sorry, apologies, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. He knows how big this is and what a tremendous job everyone's doing, which is amazing. There was a question down here. Yes, you guys.
Can you tell a bit about the history of the play and what contact you had with Benjamin?
No worries. Do you want to talk about the history of the play? Or do you want me to talk about the history of the play? Okay. This play actually was on at Melbourne Theatre Company in about 2020, where nothing really happened that year. No, nothing at all. And the play actually opened in Melbourne and then it only played for, I think, about 3 or 4... It got extended. It played for a little bit, but it didn't... It was under those awful enforced conditions where not everyone could come. So it kind of like, and in a comedy, which is never a good thing, that was kind of, yikes, death to comedy. And so I had clocked that play a while ago, and Benjamin Law, being from Brisbane and an amazing Queensland talent, has never actually had this play on here. And it's such a rip-roaring, amazing comedy that I can't wait. But also, knowing that it's set in the Gold Coast, we were on a kind of mission to bring it home, to put it in its state where you will understand the references and the place that has born this house. So yeah, it's a relatively fresh play, and Ben has been involved, and he will be up here for previews and opening night, and he's even staying on to do a masterclass, which with some local writers, which will be really, really exciting. Yeah. Do you have a question as well? That was the question. Coming up here, yes. What are we going to do with all of this? Would you like the official answer or the unofficial answer? What are we going to do with all of this stuff?
Well, we've got a skip.
We do have a skip bin as part of the play. No, props like this are very hard to come by, and I imagine they'll be absorbed into our amazing prop store out the back, lovingly catalogued for the next time someone needs a Humphrey B. Bear from the 1980s. Or 3 of them, as it turns out. Yes, here, question. Was father really decapitated? We have an audience member reading into that family photo. Where is Dad? Who wants to answer that? Or perhaps give a clue?
I think Mum wants him to be decapitated.
I tore his face out, yeah. It's a much better photo now.
But I'm not in it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
I wasn't born yet. I wasn't born.
Yeah. Dad does come in the play. He will make an appearance in the play briefly in one of the flashbacks. So you'll get to meet him and then get to put his face back in the portrait, but he doesn't belong there.
We have time for a couple more questions. So I'll come here, then I'll come over here. Yep.
You'd never be able to take this throughout Queensland. You'd need semi-trailers.
Correct. So please come, because I'm not sure it will return. I'm not sure these people will be able to do it by the end of 4 weeks. Although you're going to get really good at cleaning up. So, I feel for your families at home. Yes. Do we have a question over here? Yes. Yes.
Always a little bit of a delay with the interpreter. Sorry, we've just got the microphone.
Perfectly fine.
I'm really interested in the actors and wanting to talk about your imbuing of the thing, the prop, the specifics, and what type of discipline or technique that you maybe use individually for producing that memory recall or that energetic connection to the thing, so that we do see that and receive that on stage through your body language.
Beautiful question. Beautiful question.
Technique. Ooh. I suppose it would be a form of an endowment. specifically for myself and my process, I'm a Meisner trained actor, so we use something like an element of truth or a substitution. So, for example, the beautiful piano that you see back there, Teresa has quite a complicated relationship with it, being that she was a child prodigy. So it kind of represents her childhood dreams, all of that beautiful innocence that she had, which then, as you can see hinted by the family portrait being ripped out, is lost to a degree. And so I suppose endowing the piano with something that is personal to myself to create that connection and trusting that it will flow through as we go through the story. Does that answer that?
Everyone, please put your hands together for the cast and creatives of Benjamin Law's Torch the Place. So here is my invitation to you. I want you to bring someone with you. Bring a sibling, bring a friend, bring the person who swears they're not a theatre person, bring your mum, because they are going to love this show. You're going to laugh and you're going to recognise your own family somewhere in this mess. And somewhere between the amazing singers, and there are many, many great punchlines and the skip bin, this play lands so beautifully. This is the kind of play that people are going to talk about afterwards, and it's the kind of play when you hop in your car, you will want to call someone that you care about because it just does that thing to you. Before we finish tonight, I'd love to acknowledge a major partner on this, which is Brisbane Airport Corporation, who is hosting our community night next Tuesday, which is our first night for Torch the Place. That's a really special night for us because it allows us to bring people to the theatre who would never normally come or not think themselves invited into a space of live performance. So thank you to Brisbane Airport Corporation for introducing strangers to the magic of live theatre. We really do salute you. We play Torch the Place until March 29. I'm so proud and pleased to say this is one of the highest selling shows in season 2026. Thank you all for supporting new Australian work. Thank you for supporting this amazing cast and crew. On behalf of everyone here tonight, Godspeed and good luck. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you at the theatre. Have a nice night.